Hi, Linda.
Good morning. And Sandy and Joe, I have a new camera and you know why. So, so I think it's a little bit more clear now. I don't know, maybe not. How's everybody?
Great.
Good.
Hey.
Happy.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said feeling good today, and then Breen just started laughing, which made me laugh more.
Yes, I could not be happier.
It's a good day for us, for sure.
It's a very good day. Yes, it is.
Arizona and Pennsylvania, Linda, we work together.
I know, right? I'm so happy. I mean, I'm thrilled. Yep. Arizona went blue and Georgia's going blue and Pennsylvania, you did it. You put it over the top. So congratulations to you guys. Good work.
Yay.
We all work together.
Group effort.
Yeah, me too.
Good morning, Alexa. Good morning, Michael.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Good morning.
Going Burnett again on us.
Hannah. Hi,
Good
Hannah.
morning, Hannah.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Fabulous. Yeah,
Did your
Arizona
week turn
went-
around a little bit?
Well, Ben,
Arizona went blue and we're 45 degrees this morning. Summer
Went up
is
to 74 yesterday.
yeah, it's going to be 75 today.
And
It's gonna be beautiful.
75 today. Amazing.
wow.
Woohoo.
We're only going to be in the mid 60s. It was 99 yesterday, so it's going to be only 60 today.
Something
So
freezing over there?
yeah, pretty much. Well, we did go blue, so you know.
On my line.
Hi, Dina.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm getting there.
Good.
Is it very, Dina, is it very sunny at your house? Is that why you have?
It is. I got a couple of ophthalmic migraines, sometimes
Oh.
triggered by the
Oh.
sunlight. So I'm just kind of
Keeping it low keyed.
exactly. How's everybody?
Good.
Good to see everybody.
Yep.
Joe, Carla, Ann, Sandy,
Good morning.
Reverend Dr.
Good
Bill
morning.
Cuss. How are you?
Joe. Hi.
Yeah.
Kathy
Hi.
Schwab, quiet up there in the corner.
Hello.
It's Your God Call with Reverend Bill.
There's a pithy saying that lightning doesn't strike the same place twice because the same place isn't there the second time. It was hit by lightning. And we can use that as insight for our own lives. When we go through a transformational experience, there's that desire to get back to normal, to have things go back to that balanced, even keel they were at before. But the fact of the matter is that transformation can lead to an even better experience than we had before. So what are you inviting in your next revolution?
I have the quiet red in the sunrise, the joy of a sunny afternoon. Have the peace that comes with twilight and the mystery of a midnight moon. Well, I have everything I need. Yes, I have everything I need and more. I have the flowers that come in the springtime, the joy that shines at summer noon,
Beautiful, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. We are on Zoom again, safely social distancing at a respectful, I don't know, as far as Linda's concerned, maybe 2,500 miles, but you know, everybody is welcome. And so normally during the Zooms, as you guys know, we're going to leave our microphones muted so that we don't get into the cacophony, but just to open things up, go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open
myself to joy.
I open myself to new possibilities.
I open
myself to possibilities.
I know that love is right here, right now.
I know that love is right
here, right now.
And so it is.
And
so it is.
Thank you. Now you can put your mute back on, and I will tell you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you into our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. So we believe that there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. So we like to say our new life begins with a new thought. If you have any extraneous electronic devices that are going to distract you during the celebration, go ahead and turn them on shush so that so that we can focus within. We begin our. Oh, I must introduce myself. I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is by the stained glass illuminated Dawn Hyatt. And our practitioner today is Joe Catanzaro. We're going to begin our celebration the way we begin everything, with a practical prayer. And Joe is going to lead us in our practical prayer, our opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to have all of you here. Let's take a deep breath and turn within and know that there's one love, one intelligence, one power and presence. It's the allness of all. From the most distant particle of stardust to the closeness of our own breath. It's the Alpha and the Omega. It's the source of all matter, the force of all energy, the source of all form. We are one and the same with that force, that spirit, that energy. All of us made from its own divine substance. Each one of us is an ongoing creation of that one. Everything we do flows from that one creative source that works in us and through us and as us. I know that each one here is here to expand and deepen that connection, both to ourselves, each other, and to that one, that light, that love, that intelligence of spirit. I'm grateful for all of this good that flows into our lives and through us as a community and into us as a community. It brings new good, new connections into our lives, and I'm grateful for it. And so I claim this good. I know it's so. I accept it. And I release my word to the creative law that from the beginning of time has always said yes, and so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Joe. And I know that today a bunch of us have prayer work stories.
I have a prayer work story.
I'd like to hear it, Joe. Go ahead. Breen has one too. But you go first.
Okay. So I have been using Bill's meditation for strong and compassionate leadership for the last few weeks. And it's not just the change in our leadership
that I feel was the answer to that prayer. It's also the fact that we have had peace so far in that, since that decision, or since that outcome was announced. And I'm really grateful for that, considering everything, that all the potential. I'm very grateful for that. So that was a real prayer work story.
Thank you. Breen?
So I've been doing a lot of prayer around this whole election, trying to find love, trying to find my role. And I was guided at some point several weeks ago that my job was to make it clear that I was supporting the Democratic ticket, and to respectfully and politely question people who had a different opinion. And for the first time ever, I just turned 60. So I participated in a couple of elections. The first time ever, I put yard signs out. And yesterday, 2 different people commented to me that, oh, it looks like your yard signs worked. So, and I was just so overwhelmed yesterday. I was in tears. I can admit that. It was just such a sense of relief to see to see people dancing in the streets, and to know that we can move forward as a nation. I feel hopeful for the first time in a long time, because I was at times dipping into like, oh, what am I going to do if stuff, and I worked a lot of prayer around that. Now I don't have to worry about if, because it didn't happen. And I got one other prayer work story. My granddaughters are turning 7, and we were worried about what we're going to do for a party, this and that. So my daughter, we're doing an outdoor party, and it was planned weeks ago, and it's mid-November in the Northeast. And we've got this weather today for an outdoor socially distanced triplet 7-year-old birthday party. So yay, God.
Thank you, Breen. Linda.
Good morning, everybody. So my prayer work story is over a long period of time, but Joe Biden got elected and Kamala Harris. Arizona went blue. We're sending our astronaut Mark Kelly to the Senate, and it's going to rain tonight. So yay, it was very successful.
That's a good week in Arizona.
It's a great week. And this is all just in a couple of days. So I'm thrilled. Couldn't be happier.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Carla-Ann.
Hi, everyone. So I'm very surprised to be sharing. I really didn't expect to until about 5 seconds ago, but I too cried when the announcement was made about our new leaders. And I was at the onset. I was at the creation of the Compassionate Leadership Prayer. It started as a meditation in one of our 8 a.m. meditations. So that was amazing. And I spent last evening with my friends that I grew up with in the suburbs, who are all Caucasian and mostly Republican. And we pretty much avoided it for most of the evening until the end. And it was just my friends Karen and Kenny who lived there, and me and Kenny's sister. And Kenny didn't get it. He totally voted Republican, was offended when I said that. Anyway, was offended when I talked about racism, and left and went to bed. And then my best friend from second grade, I told her about my experiences, and I reminded her of some of those experiences when we were kids, and she was hearing it, and that sister was totally into it. And we walked together when we were leaving, and she was like, I want to know more. I want to learn more. But my bestie sent me a text this morning that said, I may have had too much wine because I don't know that I meant to agree with you. So I guess my prayer work is that, I've known her since we were 7, and it's really the first time we've talked about, the second time that we talked about race, but the first time that we got really into it. So it's a beginning, and it's transformation of a long-term friendship that I think will go forever. I'm sorry, I'm still talking. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else got a prayer work story to share? I have to do a quick check-in. Jesus, what state are you in? You're muted.
I just started. I'm in Maryland.
Okay. Jesus is driving to Florida again.
At 6, I see you at North Carolina. Hopefully, your favorite state, South Carolina.
My favorite. You bet. All right, there we go. Thank you, Jesus. We have some announcements today by our host, who today is Sarah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This unseasonably warm info can be found on our website at newthoughtphilly.org. Save the date for our winter solstice celebration as we rejoice in the return of the light on Monday, December 21st. We'll begin with a silent meditation at sunset, which is at 4:39 p.m., and continue from 5 to 6:30 with inspirational music and sound, story, ceremony, and candle lighting, meditation, intention, and prayer. Our special music guest is world-renowned New Thought artist Daniel Nahmad. I'm looking for
Nahmad.
See?
Nahmad.
Nahmad. We do a fun and inspiring community check-in and meditation twice a day, and they're less than 15 minutes, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., Saturday at 9 a.m. and at 6 p.m. They're open to everyone, and we use the same Zoom meeting as we do on Sunday celebrations. We are active on social media. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Philly Spiritual Adventurers group on meetup.com, and then like and share the content that you like. Join the Unexpected Income Club to immerse yourself even more deeply in abundant prosperity. It's a fun way to prove prosperity principles. The practitioners and Beyond Limit students are repeating a daily practical prayer for more prosperity to flow joyously into the life of each club member. It shows up in the form of income that you are not already expecting. You'll do the same prayer too and donate 10% of the unexpected income to New Thought Philadelphia. It runs through the end of the year. Sign up on the website. Our first Power of 8 Intention Circle has come to a close, and we are starting a new one. Please email Reverend Bill if you're interested in choosing the day and time and joining in. The Women's Circle meets on Tuesday, November 24th from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. Please contact Sandy for information. We gratefully accept donations and payments via credit card or PayPal. Use the donate button on the website or mail a check to the office in Ardmore. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebrations work. There's a technical rehearsal on Saturday afternoon and a final check-in before the celebration on Sunday. If you'd like to be part of the team, let me know. Reverend Bill and the practitioners do practical prayer sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Joe will be available for a Miracle in a Minute prayer at no charge. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk amongst themselves at the end.
Thank you, Sarah. So delightfully done. So I'm looking through the participants list, and everybody has been here once or twice or hundreds of times before. Normally we will welcome our new guests and our second-time visitors, but what we're going to do is we're going to give each other a little bit of that blessing. So go ahead and rub your hands together. Feel that warmth, feel that love, feel that potential and possibility, and just send it out to everybody else who you're seeing on your screen. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you for shining your light and sharing your love with us today. And welcome home.
Thank you.
Take an opportunity as Dawn does the next song to just catch the eyes of the other people in the Zoom meeting. Maybe pin them for a moment and just connect.
So this next song I'm going to play is written by a dear friend of mine. His name is Brian Kehoe, and he lives out in Wisconsin. And just as a really quick explanation of why I'm playing this song. First of all, it's just a feel-good song. It's called I'll Be On Your Side. And he's just this beautiful person who spreads a lot of joy. And I think we could all use a lot of joy right now. And this week I had the great joy of scrolling through the New York Times as I was, of course, refreshing my page a lot and seeing his mural art
coming up on the New York Times over and over again. And he and a group of great mural artists have been working around Madison, Wisconsin, putting up messages of hope and joy, love your neighbor, kindness wins, why I vote, all over the place throughout the past 4 years, really. And if you're interested in, check it out. It's called, Instagram they have is Oh Yay Studio. And it's all just like really uplifting art. And anyway, I thought it would be appropriate to play his song today called I'll Be On Your Side. Lying in my room, we let the radio play. Can't help but be moved when I hear Nick Cave say, are you the one who I've been waiting for? Say you wanna stay and fall asleep to this serenade, and when we awake and take on this new day, know that I'll be on your side. I'll be on your side. If you're feeling low, please just realize that I'll be on your side. Lying in your room, you tell me your story with tears of fear and gloom, and I say don't worry, I'll be there for you. You're all I want and more, and if you don't believe it's true, give me time and I'll show you. I'll be on your side. I'll be on your side. If darkness falls and you can't find a light, oh wow, I'll be on your side. Next to you, and I'm patiently waiting for this dream to come true. You're still hesitating, but that won't get me blue. I got time, and until then, joy shines through. Each time I tell you, I'll be on your side. I'll be on your side. If you need a friend to walk you through this life, I'll be on your side. I'll be on your side. I'll be on your side. If you need a friend, walk you through this life a while, I'll be on your side.
Thank you, Dawn. That was awesome. That was just wonderful. Carla Ann is now going to read the Flames of Faith as we switch on Flame Cam 3.0.
Hi, we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine, feminine, and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the 8th candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the 9th candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today is going to be brought to us by Jennifer.
Hi, everybody. So the reading today is by Ernest Holmes, and it's taken from How to Change Your Life. The universe in which we live is a spiritual system governed by laws of mind. There are not two minds. There is but one mind, which is God. The outpush of the mind of God through the human mind is the self-realization of spirit, seeking a new outlet for its own expression. Ideas come from the great mind and operate through the human mind. The two are one. In this way, the infinite mind is personal to each individual. From the infinite self-knowingness of God, our power to know arises, because our mind springs from the universal mind. In this way, the infinite multiplies itself through the finite. The science of mind teaches that God is personal, and personal in a unique sense to everyone. It teaches that conscious communion with the indwelling spirit opens the avenues of intuition and provides a new starting point for the creative power of the Almighty. No one ever lived who valued the individual life more than Jesus. He proclaimed his divinity through his humanity and taught that all people are brothers and sisters. Every person comes from the bosom of the unseen Father. As the divinity of Christ is awakened through the humanity of humankind, the divine spark, which is shot from the central fires of the universal flame, warms other souls in the glow of its own self-realization. We can give only what we have. The only shadow that we cast is the shadow of the self. This shadow lengthens as we realize the great presence in which we live, move, and have our being. The science of mind not only emphasizes this unity of God and humankind, it teaches us that in such degree as our thought becomes spiritualized, it actually manifests the power of God. In doing this, it literally follows the teaching of Jesus when he proclaimed that all things are possible to the person who believes.
Thank you, Jennifer and Ernest. Dawn?
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither wildly as they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jagru de Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes call me on and on across the universe. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Sounds of laughter, shades of life are ringing through my open view, enticing and inviting me. Limitless, undying love which shines around me like a million suns calls me on and on across the universe. Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Jaguru Deva. Jaguru Deva. Jaguru Deva.
Beautiful, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you so much. The title of today's talk is Disappointing God. And I'm going to get into that. It's my propensity to use ambiguous statements and then explain several different things that they could mean. We usually don't talk politics at New Thought Philadelphia. However, the events of this week have brought up a bunch of new possibilities. So I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. For anybody who's watching the recordings years in the future, we spent from Tuesday until Saturday watching what children across the country referred to as the map show, as cable news showed the same map 24/7 with tiny little changes coming from here to there. And then on Saturday morning, about sometime around 11 o'clock, a batch of votes that had been counted in Philadelphia were released. And as soon as those numbers came out, all of the networks and all of the decision desks called the race for Joe Biden, bringing the map show to an end and the election season to an end, and Trump to being a one-term president, and a new course for the country. And there was much celebrating and rejoicing and dancing in the streets, especially in Philadelphia, and as Linda mentioned earlier, in Phoenix. And over the course of the week, a couple of things became clear. The president had been saying that this is a rigged election. And in fact, I think it was a rigged election, but it didn't work. Because Joe Biden won anyway. Another thing that the president said early on is bad things happen in Philadelphia, very bad things. And it brings to mind the old story that we repeat from time to time. Bad things, good things, who can tell? Who can tell? And I bring these things up just because it's an anchor point for a lot of people in our community. But one of the most important things for us to remember is that there were more votes in this election for Donald Trump than for any other presidential candidate in history except for Joe Biden in this election. There are a huge number of our fellow citizens who are feeling as upset and anguished as we would have been if it went the other way. And we get the opportunity to take the high road, to hold the high watch, to be love in the face of this fear and concern. I've taken to watching Fox News from time to time just to see what's going on and watch the stoking of the fears. The president had done that for years and years and years, telling people about how horrible things were and scary, and we have to do this or this bad thing will happen. And the truth of the matter is there is only love. And anytime we're experiencing something other than love, it's fear. So in a situation where somebody is got that stuff going on, what we want to do is bring love to the fight, as Adam often says. Let's bring love to the fight. And not even to have a fight, just to be love and to allow the healing to happen. And the healing is the revealing of the truth, that there is love available in every moment, in every situation, in every activity. There are things that people on the, on the Republican, on the conservative side want, and some of those things are very valuable. And instead of throwing them all away because we disagree with some of the other things that are being said, is to be able to listen, to be curious, to be open, and to let new possibilities happen. So, as often happens, I was going along minding my own business, and Joe Catanzaro, RSCP, sent me a link to an article that she saw and then asked for my opinion on the metaphysics of it. And this time it was an article that's titled "Why You Should Know About the New Thought Movement." And it was about New Thought and Donald Trump and his particular take on it and what's New Thought-ish about Donald Trump. And New Thought is very interesting because it's, and Luke has just put a link to the article into the chat in case you want to go and look at it. It's from 2017, but it's still relevant. Everybody's heard of the Nobel Prize, and we think of it as being, high-minded, and the big one is the Nobel Peace Prize. But what people usually forget is why Alfred Nobel was famous and rich to begin with, and it's because he invented dynamite. And he realized when he invented dynamite that you could use dynamite to dig tunnels, and you could use dynamite to mine minerals, and you could use dynamite in construction projects, and you could also use dynamite in weapons and in very hurtful ways. So Nobel wanted to make sure that that highest possible use got made of his invention. And that's what he wanted to reinforce. That's what he wanted to be talking about again and again and again. And New Thought is similar in that the basic belief of New Thought is that we create our experiences according to our beliefs. If we have a new thought, we can create a new experience in our lives. And this works. It works for people who know how to work it. It works for practitioners. It works for students. It works for people who have studied it. And oh, by the way, since it's a principle, since this is the creative law of the universe, everything works that way. So we can use it in ignorance. We can use it blindly. It is possible to use this creative law with complete ignorance of the law. And what happens is the New Thought movement, by the way, the article says that it started with Phineas Quimby, who was the first person who did a significant series of healings using the principles of New Thought. The philosophy behind it actually came from Ralph Waldo Emerson in the early 1800s, and the Transcendentalists, who believed that there is one power, one creative presence, one love, one intelligence. He called it the Oversoul. And he said that Oversoul exists in us. It is our soul as well. And then we're using that power to create our life according to our beliefs. And a lot of teachers, including Ernest Holmes and the Fillmores who created the Unity movement, and countless others, have taught us how to take this very powerful spiritual practice and grow and deepen and expand the experience that we're having in our lives. And some other folks realize that you can use that process and just create a change in your life. And it works really well. One of the people who did that wrote The Power of Positive Thinking and got really famous with that. His name was Norman Vincent Peale. He was a minister in New York City, and his whole thing was about positive thinking. If you think positive thoughts, and the things that you're thinking about will come into your experience. And you know what? It works. That's how New Thought works. It works exactly that way. And one of his parishioners was Donald Trump's father, and that's the church that Donald Trump grew up in. So he learned to use that technique. And we've seen him do it, where he'll say something and say something and say something until it's true.
I didn't know that.
And just repeat it over and over again until it comes along. And that's the power of positive thinking. The problem is, it only works until it stops working, because it's not done unto you as you say. It's not done unto us as we want. It's not done unto us as we demand. It's done unto us as we believe. So the self-help positive thinking thing works right up until the point that we get to the edge of our belief system. As soon as we hit the edge of our belief system, then whatever it is that we're saying stops working, because the law is responding to what we believe. I'm actually going to read a passage from the Science of Mind textbook. This is, by the way, my favorite passage. It's page 52, if you want to read along. And it's the twisty one. It's talking about the law. It must and will respond to everyone because it is law, and law is no respecter of persons. We are surrounded by an intelligent force and substance from which all things come, the ultimate essence, in the invisible and subjective world of all visible and objective forms and conditions. It is around us in its original state, ready and willing to take form through the impulse of our creative belief. It works for us by flowing through us. This law we did not create, this law we cannot change. We can use it correctly only as we understand and use it according to its nature. Here's the fun part. Hence, it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. When we believe that it cannot and it will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does. Only it does according to our belief that it will not. This is our own punishment through the law of cause and effect. We do not enter in because of our doubts and fears. It is not a punishment imposed upon us by the Spirit of God, but an automatic result of failing constructively to use the law of God. The law always works, even when it works by appearing not to work. Which means that we really get to pay attention to what it is that we're thinking, to what it is that we're creating. And oh, by the way, prosperity, financial abundance is one of the easiest things to create in our lives. That's why when we do the Beyond Limits class, we have the Unexpected Income Club, which you guys are welcome to join. Because this principle works all the time. And as soon as we open ourselves up to a little bit more good, then the good flows. And that becomes a cycle, because then we're told this really does work. So now I'm seeing it, so I believe it even more deeply, and we get to deepen into that principle and that process. And there are lots and lots of people in the New Thought movement who have had complete transformations of their finances, because it's possible. It's an infinitely abundant universe. It is not possible that the universe has enough money to build cities and skyscrapers and resorts and not have enough to make the rent for you. It's an infinitely abundant universe. It's just about having the pieces fit together in a way that's going to bring more harmony and balance to everybody. But the New Thought philosophy, the movement, is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Everything that we are getting, everything that we're creating, everything that we're generating, we are paying for, as Ernest Holmes says, in spiritual coin. We are living in a spiritual process. And when we're just looking at the part where, the thinking, power of positive thinking, our positive thinking has an endpoint. And that's why we are so clear that this is a spiritual process, because it's not me. It is not my small self. It is not the little I down here that's making this stuff happen. It's that infinite creative power and presence, the divine, whatever we call it, spirit, nature, God, the Big Bang, whatever that source from which everything came, that's the power that's creating everything. And we're co-creating with it. We are allowing that power to channel through us and create something new for us. I was inspired about all of this stuff in my teen group on Thursday evening, because it was a really small group. And I said, what do you want to know about? And one said, tell me where this came from. Tell me where this New Thought thing came from. And so it was fun. With teens, you can go through the entire history of New Thought in about 15, 20 minutes. And they said, wow, I didn't realize it went back, 200 and something years. They thought it was much newer than that. And that reminded me that this story is important to tell. This has been evolving and unfolding and revealing itself for 200 years as New Thought. And then we can trace our lineage back. This is all of the same thinking that the avatars and the prophets that religions are named after have been saying all along. As you believe, it is done unto you. That was, Jesus said that. So in articles like the one that that Joe had me look at, New Thought sometimes gets a bad rap. Look at New Thought and say, oh, it's dynamite, it's bad. It's dangerous, it's tricky, it can undermine people, it can, it takes you to a certain destination and then drops you off a cliff. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. We just need to use the whole thing. We need to go all in and open ourselves to the possibility of what's new and what's next, and to allow. A couple of other things that came to mind as I watched the election results, as the state of New Jersey, where I grew up, voted to legalize marijuana, recreational marijuana. That would have made my high school days different, I think, or maybe not. Oregon says that they're decriminalizing cocaine and heroin. And my thought about that is that in the war on drugs, drugs have won. And there's a war on terror and a war on crime. We keep on having wars on things because we know how to fight. We know how to have a big fight, to gear up and get our weapons out and bring the dynamite and have a fight. But when you go to war, you're looking for a fight. And if what we want to do is turn away from the fear, from the war, from the fight, and open ourselves to love, then we get to take a different step. We get to rearrange the way that we do things in a different way, in a manner that's going to be more harmonious for us. Let's tone down the rhetoric about defunding the police and instead talk about when somebody's having a mental health issue, let's not send people with guns to help them. Let's send people with an understanding of mental health issues to help them, because then we're actually able to solve the problem, to engage in the situation at the level that makes sense. And just by doing those little things where we let a little bit more love in, let go of our attachment to what has been, and just open to new possibilities, that things get to change. They get to change for all of us. They get to change for all of us. So I promised to talk about disappointing God, and I will close by talking about disappointing God. There is nothing that you can do to disappoint God. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. He's giving you the keys to the kingdom, and he's not asking where you're going to go or telling where you have to drive. This is good pleasure. We have this creative law available to us. It is done unto you as you believe. We are free to choose our own beliefs and to create our own experience. And the great news is there is nothing that we can do to disappoint God. Actually, it's fun to prove that. You know, in the notion of an angry God or a jealous God or doing something that's going to make God upset. You know, we've all been in relationships with somebody where, you know, every once in a while you push their buttons and they just go completely ballistic. And then if we're in a relationship with them a while longer, we understand where their buttons are, and then we can push their buttons whenever we want. And so I can just decide, all right, if I want to make this person angry, I know how to do it. Well, who's in charge of that relationship? Who's controlling that relationship? If you could push God's button, who would be in charge of the relationship if you're able to make God angry just by your behaviors? I don't know about you, but I don't think God works that way. I don't think we can push God's buttons, which means that whatever we do, one way or another, is okay. God loves us anyway. When you feel joy, God feels joy. When you feel pain, God feels joy. You're not changing God. You are not disappointing God. And in the same way, if there's any time that God is disappointing you, it's time to get a different opinion or understanding of God. God is ready to say yes to everything. And if you think God isn't saying yes to the right things, then what we get to do is, instead of blaming God and being disappointed in God, is to change the way that we're believing and invite a next new experience. And that's because love is always available. It's available to me. It's available to each one of us. It's available to all of us. So let's make that our business this week. When we see love, to embrace it. When we see the light, to run toward it. When we see fear and darkness, to be curious about it, to allow it, and to let our light fill that darkness and bring love to it. Because we deserve to live in a world that's filled with love and light. And we get to be the love and light in the world that we're getting into. Have an awesome week. I don't know that it could be better than last week, but let's see what we can do.
This is a song I wrote years ago. It's called Farther On. And this week, when I was trying to think of songs that would be fitting, it just felt fitting because this was a song that I wrote in a very different context. But this week, when I was feeling kind of the waves of grief and despair and hope and just wondering the context of what was coming next. And again, this was a song written in a different context, but I kind of am singing it today in a collective together, kind of the blind hope that we kind of keep pushing forward. And sometimes there's light at the end. Farther on, my love. Farther on, we'll find the answers. So don't you worry, a troubled mind. Just take your time. And we don't need the words, don't need the answers. night. 'Cause farther on down the line, we'll find the answers. Sorry. I'm just going to take a breath and I'm going to start this. We don't need the words, don't need the answers. We don't need a sense of peace in our minds tonight, 'cause farther on down the line, we'll find the answers, and things will work out just fine down the line. Farther on down the line, we see the beauty of this time. As we walked blindly toward a light, we may not see it someday, we might. You leave me better than you found me, wrapped your loving arms around me. You may never know how you save me, but farther on you might. Farther on, my love. Farther on, my love. Farther on, my love. Farther on, as hope leads blindly. Farther on, my love.
Wow.
Sorry, I had a hard time getting through that.
Beautiful.
Thanks for your patience.
That was very, very real. Thank you. Joe is going to lead us in our meditation.
As soon as I unmute myself.
There you go.
So, I came across a question, something I was reading. It seemed really it just really struck me. And the question was, what are we becoming? And I also saw, I wanted to do a passage meditation, sort of about vision and grace, and how grace is a realization that comes from our intuition or intuitive flow. And we can revision or see things through that grace. So I kind of wanted to combine this, using that vision and that grace to think about, what are we becoming? So I'll lead to, there's a short affirmation or quote or passage I'm going to read, but let's first get comfortable in our chairs. Get your feet flat on the floor, sit upright, just feel supported in your chair. And start by releasing tension in the body, taking 3 slow, deep breaths. So let's breathe in. Hold it at the top. And release. Feel that tension flow out of your body. Your shoulders drop. Your body get loose. Take 1 more deep breath. Hold, breathe in. Hold it at the top. And release. One more breath. In, hold it at the top, and release. Just feel that inner expansion. And tap into that place inside where we connect to spirit. My eyes are God's eyes. I see with the eyes of spirit. I see clearly the open way. There are no obstacles on my path. I see clearly the perfect plan. Open to that intuitive flow, to that grace. To see with God's eyes. And look out to, what are we becoming? Continue to take some slow, deep breaths. And stay open to seeing and that flow of grace. The possibilities of what we can become.
After carrying a heavy burden for some period of time, we find that our muscles are stronger, that we have a newfound strength that we didn't have before carrying the burden. When a bone breaks, it heals and comes back stronger than it was before. We now have the opportunity to take this newfound strength that we didn't want, but now have, and use that to create something new. Love is at hand. The creative power of the universe is creating something new and wonderful, and we are in a position, each of us individually and all of us together, to choose to express and embody and be that love in a bright and wonderful new way. Because that divine power and presence that is everything, that God essence, flows to and through and in and as every part of creation. Every part of creation. That divine mind is the same mind with which everyone thinks. It is not possible that that works everywhere except the 3 feet around me or you. That's everywhere, it's everyone, each of us, it's all of us. That divine creative power is saying yes to these powerful and positive intentions that we are setting. So I know that each of us is choosing love and harmony and peace and prosperity and vitality and health and wholeness and goodness. Inviting and allowing the healing, which is the revealing of the truth, allowing love to flow. Inviting that intuitive guidance as to the next perfect steps to take and the inspiration to take them. Love is at hand right here and now, and I'm grateful for it. And I look forward with delight to the stories about good and even more good and even more good flowing into our lives. And I know that it does so for each of us as an individual, for all of us together as community, and for our world. This love is the healing, which is the revealing of the truth. This love is good and more good already flowing. And with this feeling of gratitude for this good, I speak this word of intention and I release it, the creative law, the one that's always said yes. The one that since the beginning of time has said yes. I release this word and I know that the law is once again saying yes. So I let it be. I know it's so. And so it is. Amen. So take another deep and intentional breath. Maybe bring some motion back to your extremities, fingers and toes. Maybe shrug your shoulders and bring your attention back into the Zoom as Dawn does another song for us.
So I'm going to try to be a little less emotional on this one. This is a song I wrote when I lived in Germantown in Philadelphia. This is called The Ballad of Germantown. When Jeff and I lived in Germantown, we rented from the Mennonite Historic Trust, and our house was the old parish house of the first Mennonite meeting house in the States. And so our yard looked over an old graveyard. My music room overlooked an old graveyard. And so I wrote this song, which I actually liked, that was my view. I found it inspiring. And I kind of looked into the story of the Mennonites and what their story was of coming to the country and settling in Germantown. And part of their story and part of their mantra was just to keep pushing forward and to keep trying. And if you don't get it right, to just keep trying and to just keep collectively pushing forward. And I don't know, when I was putting together the songs this week, that came to mind. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. And if it's not this time, we'll keep trying and we'll get it right and we'll keep pushing forward. So, Ballad of Germantown. Kiss the ground just in from the sea. October 6th of 1683, they headed up the hill 6 miles out, found land to fill. Stick by stick and stone by stone, that little church was built. By the time the year reached 1770. They had a church, a town, plenty to keep busy. The blessings came pouring down, but all the sorrows they came to. They slowly filled their graveyard as the old gave way to new. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. We'll get it right this time around. Can't help but wonder at the story we have found. Breaking and mending, oh, in love blessing abounds. The scattered bones once filled this house that we now keep. Can their ghosts hear us laugh or whisper when we weep? You'll get it right. You'll get it right. You'll get it right this time around. We started younger through the years. We paid our dues. We did the best we could as time came marching through. So watch the wheel that turns as it is meant to do. For all that dies with one, in another comes back new. They'll get it right. They'll get it right. They'll get it right this time around. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. We'll get it right this time around.
Thank you so much, Dawn. So we spent the last hour or so planting seeds, and let's see what's germinating. Anybody have something that's come up for you through this that you'd like to share? Jesus, that was quick.
That was quick. Well, I'm gonna try to put it in words what I'm feeling. It's not gonna be so simple. I appreciate Dawn, what she was singing. You know, my soul just want to shoot out from my body. She's singing with so much soul and feeling. And Ray, what you your talk is so powerful because you're not only bringing your teaching but you bring in your presence. The Spirit of Christ. And when you brought about Donald Trump, I saw the spirit of the Antichrist, not to put Donald Trump down, because maybe I don't love his behavior. I love the being, but the Spirit of Christ is the one that knows the law the way you know the law, but the way you use it constructive, to teach, to exhort, to motivate, to bring clarity to everyone you speak to and touch. And when you say Donald Trump went to the New Thought or whatever, you know, he knows the law. That's the spirit of the Antichrist, but use it to this in a destructive way, consciously or unconsciously. But what you say about New Thought, that the team, they 15 minutes, but you just said right there, New Thought, it's not a to get rich scheme. But you explain a lot just in that. And when you say, like, you got to keep on it because you think they're going to leave you in the cliff and let you go. But a lot of times, you know, what I got is from that is if it don't work, you know, keep on it, you know, keep trying, you know, keep going on it, because not a lot of things in my life would I get just through a prayer or whatever, but I gotta accept that I got that, even though I thought I didn't got the way you explained it. You know, it works even though when you think it don't work. It's working because it's benefit for myself. And I see everything so clear, more clear than ever. And my feelings and my thinking, but you say a lot through that, all is love, you know, and the more I put myself in that love, the more I dissipate whatever else that don't suit me. So I feel like every day I get up and I feel like a baby, like I'm born again. And the feeling is so remarkable. And when we were talking, you know, I was like just like in another, you know, another world, you know. So I just want to say I appreciate what you do, your commitment, this talk, you know, your clarity, what you bring, you know, it brings me clarity. Because sometimes when I'm not sure, I ask you, and then you bring it to, and then puts me back in the track that I need to be at. So thank you, Rev. Appreciate you. Love
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Anything else, Karen?
Yes, I just want to share how grateful I am because my soul was really nurtured by the service today. It was fed, you know, with the opening prayer and the meditation what Joe gave, Jennifer, the reading by Ernest Holmes, Dawn, the music you provided, even in that, what you were calling your, I don't know, maybe your breakdown moment, it touched my heart because you were so genuine, so authentic, and demonstrating how music can go so deep. And Reverend Bill, your message, and those who shared, Breen and Linda and Carly Ann, how prayer has been working in your life, all of this coming together to nourish my soul and to affirm what I believe and I value. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Sandy, and then Jane, and then Sarah with the offering.
The theme for me today, I guess I could mirror just what Karen said. I'll say it a little differently. Compassionate leadership was like the words that kept going through my head. And when I was listening to you, Reverend Bill, I just felt such a softness in my heart. And Dawn, your music did the same thing, that softness in my heart. And really last night, listening to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I really did have the experience of compassion. I could feel their compassion. And it was such a sense of relief. And I'm just feeling like compassionate leadership, whether it's how I'm being in the world, how I'm being toward myself, how others are being, that compassion goes so far. Compassion is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So thank you. I feel nourished.
Thank you, Sandy. Jane?
Okay, here we are. And this is something kind of struck me with everything this week, what you're talking about and the music and everything. I had a moment this morning where I was just like a complete crying idiot because, you know, sometimes in this journey that I've been on this past year, I get angry. I feel like there's a possible health scare for me, but I'm sure it's nothing. And I realized that it's like you really, you know, New Thought is not, you know, like the big bellhop in the sky, like, please make everything all right now. It's like, I constantly work these principles. And it's like, I can't expect that everything is going to happen instantaneously. So when I find myself in those dark places, I always remember what Reverend Bill says, pivot. Like I just pivot immediately, and I remember these principles, and I stop feeling sorry for myself, and I start looking at the positivity of it all. And what Dawn was singing about this morning, it was like, we're going to get this right. I'm going to get this right. But it's a practice for me. And it's a constant, you know, faith and reminder of these principles because they do work. And sometimes they work for people instantaneously. And sometimes it's a period of time of just constantly being persistent and pushing on. So thank you. That was a good talk this morning.
Thank you, Jane. Sarah?
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering is on the screen, and we'll say it all together. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am the center of prosperity. I enjoy
the richness
of life.
I bless my gift. I share my gift of gratitude and joy.
I know that
I do receive. So it is.
So it is.
Okay, so this last song I'm going to play today is by Rick Rappaport. And I had the honor of singing on this song when he recorded it back in 2013 on his album titled Hope Running Backward. And I just kept thinking about that title of his album this week, Hope Running Backward, as the ballots were being counted backward. And the votes that came in first were counted last. And I don't know, it just felt poetic to play his song today titled Rise Above. Well, the day will come when we'll rise above. I said the day will come when we'll be with love. I said the day will come when we'll rise above this mountain. I fought the urge to run, and you who had come undone, and we've waited here so long. Dreams that have come
Beautiful, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you.
And, I couldn't help but notice that you made that the chorus in the present tense.
Oh yeah, I had to.
Well, let's make another joyous noise unto the Lord. Go ahead and unmute your microphone, and you can repeat after me. I am the love.
I am the
love. I am the light.
I am the light.
The day has come.
The day has come.
We are the ones.
We are the ones.
Let my light shine.
I let my light shine.
I let the love flow.
I let the love flow.
Let the love flow.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you so much for being here. What a wonderful morning.
This
It
little
was a
lad
wonderful
man.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Because my neighbor. Oh, are you so happy? Yes,
Yay.
Yay.
Hey, Bill, I've got a unexpected income story. So I volunteered to work the polls on Tuesday. So I worked from 1 o'clock to about 9:30. And I thought I was volunteering. Turns out you get paid.
No,
So in about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to get a check from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania for helping to work the polls.
Nice.
Well, thank you for your service.
So, hey, Bill.
Yeah.
I was really interested and appreciative that you shared the story about Donald Trump being a member of the Norman Vincent Peale Church. I had no idea. I know that my dad read that book. I think that's one of the early books. And he used to say all the time, if you repeat something enough, people will believe it. And I knew that that was what Trump was doing, but I didn't know that that was the root that he learned that.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. That was very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it works right until it stops working. Like, yeah, the virus is just going to go away. Well, it's like, no.
It was a beautiful service. Thank you, Rev. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. Bye, Carla.
Great day, Carla.
Jane, it's great to see you.
You're
beautiful. Bye.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Yes,
Have a phenomenal week. Bye-bye.
Have a fabulous week.
Take care, Karen.
Bye.
So, Breen, thanks for working the polls, and Philadelphia, thanks for your huge contribution to the election. Louisiana wasn't really helping you out, but I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
It was our yard signs. It really was.
It was the yard signs.
Over the end.
What is it the funny one says?
Which one? The one that says stop the Donald, STD, stop the Donald, don't let the infection spread?
I've seen that. I've seen that. That's a great one.
Person, woman.